Hey, Coach Jesse from Rebalance Performance and Nutrition, operating out of my own studio today. I want to have a bit of a discussion again about exercise selection, specifically when people hear these are the top exercises you should do for your age range. A lot of that is just clickbaity because unless the person knows you personally and they've tailored the exercises to you, it's very hard to give general advice for people to do X, Y, and Z because the percentage of different body types and issues and injuries that arise between 30 and 50 is just phenomenal, and it's too hard to calculate the best ones just for you. So one thing as a consumer that you need to start thinking about, especially when you go YouTube or TikTok or fucking Instagram, is look at the person giving the advice. All right. Are they a jack shredded dude? Are they a power lifter? Are they a physio, an osteo, whatever? Look at the person giving the advice and say, are they targeting my demographic? Once you hear that one video, go through and check out a bunch of their other videos. Is the message the same? Who are they actually targeting? What are they aiming for? And do they have experience in training people such as yourself? So for me, if somebody says these are the 3 best exercises you should do within your age range, I think that's clickbaity and bullshit, because it should be, these are the 3 best exercises you should do if you're between 30 and 50, have been lifting consistently for 2 or 3 years plus, and have no issues with back pain, knee pain, etc. Sort of give it a bit more preference. However, as I said, that's not sexy. So people just go with that clickbaity stuff because it's easier and it sounds exciting. You get that dopamine rush where it's like, oh shit, this might be the thing that fixes me, when the only thing that's going to fix you is hard work and dedication. So for instance, I did a video on overhead pressing, elbow positioning. So somebody might say, well, for one of the exercises you should do is shoulder press with dumbbells. All right. Now, the reason behind that is because it does recruit a lot more muscles, a lot more stabilizers, which will eventually be better off for longevity and sustainability. However, if you haven't got the control there yet or the stability, and you start to go too hard, too fast, I've dislocated my shoulder before, I've done damage because of that same reason. So education is important around this. And if you don't know what you're doing, you put yourself in a high risk of injury section for really no reason. What I would do is get rid of this one, and we'd go machine-based shoulder pressed. Okay. Machine-based shoulder press, way safer, risk of injury is a lot lower, and it allows you to start training with intention and with purpose so that you know what you should feel roughly doing that exercise. Now, I always caveat this by saying it's 10 times easier if you get a coach and a PT to actually watch you and help you spot this sort of stuff. Unless you want to feel like a wanker with a tripod in the gym. It's very much common these days, but I think I'm one of the few to do it at my gym. So if you're not willing to film yourself doing stuff, machine-based shoulder pressing, try to train with a friend, or try to actively educate yourself on what it should feel like, what the positioning should look like, so that when you are doing it, you know that your chest is high, your shoulders are pinched, and that we start to go through that range of motion properly. So a lot of the shoulder machines look like this. You've got your bars coming around here like that. Okay, whatever's going on back here, pulleys, all the free weights and shit over here. All right, so when people sit down here, show me how you do it. They go straight for these nice, easy handles right in the front right here. Really, really simple. And look, it's great. Gets the anterior delts working, gets the biceps working, all that sort of stuff. But no control, no movement, no functional reason why they're doing it. They just know this is what they're supposed to do. Chest is caved in, shoulders are going up all the time. There's no control there. So what I would do is educate the person first if I had the opportunity to do it, which is why I do these videos. So get them to sit down there, and then we want them to grab out here. Okay. So for the same reason as you do that dumbbell press, you're on the sides like this. Elbow positioning, you still want to be nice and forward. So as you're pushing up, you're coming up and then coming down. Chest is nice and high. There's way more carryover with this, learning the movement first and then transitioning into dumbbells afterwards to get those stabilizers to kick in. But always starting off on a machine base first to understand what it should feel like so that we can go into it. I sort of look at it like school. The machines are like that primary school sort of stuff, learning the basics, learning how everything goes through it. Once you've done the basics and you understand how it should feel, then you move on to the dumbbells or the barbells to help that's like high school, university sort of stuff. Barbells, dumbbells help to start recruit a bit more of the stabilizers and putting yourself through a lot more of those compound movements. And then if you want to start going into like bodybuilding and that sort of stuff, then obviously you can transition back to machine-based stuff to really isolate the muscles that you want to do to add a bit of extra volume and load there. But there's no reason why we shouldn't be going machine-based workouts to start off with, because as silly as they may feel or you may feel doing them, I see people doing them wrong all the time, and they'll be doing them wrong in a year's time. As much as I've given them advice to how to fix it, people will only want to change when they want to change. So start off with machine-based stuff, go through those motions, learn what it should feel like. Machines are relatively safe. We can change them slightly. I do put a couple of videos up about how to customize them to get the best out of it all. But machine-based to start off with are the best things we can do for anybody in any age group, just to make sure that we don't have any issues there. Secondly is somebody should be doing a postural analysis, imbalance test, postural, imbalance assessment, not test. So making sure that your body looks, feels, and moves all right through just body weight exercises, through stretches, everything like that. That's going to be the next thing that you should focus on before you start following these kind of people. Do you have full range of motion with your shoulders all the way up? Do you have any pressure in the front of the shoulder, back of the shoulder when we apply pressure like on a fridge? Is there any pain through here? So working on those sort of functions yourself can really make it easier. I'm going to start putting up some quick assessment guides you can start doing at home just to sort of know what your issues may or may not be. But a simple one we say is using a mirror at the gym allows you to sort of see how your body is functioning, what muscles it recruits during an exercise. So it's like, oh, that doesn't really look normal, or that side looks elevated, or that side looks more depressed. Or I'm very much more in my squats specifically, I'm favoring one side more than the other side. So postural is something else that's really important. Now, for me, exercise selection is really easy. We want to go a horizontal push and a pull, which I've written before. So horizontal push, okay, bench press or machine press. And so that's supposed to be pull, push and pull. So horizontal pull will be cable rows or row machine. Okay, and then you want to go vertical push pull. So vertical PP. So vertical push would be overhead pressing or shoulder press machine. Vertical pull would be assisted pull-ups, lat pull down. Then we'd go squats. So squats should always be in a workout regardless of age. Doesn't have to be heavy squats, body weight squats, functional squats, trying to get depth with as much mobility as possible. Then going through a hinging movement such as like an RDL. Again, it's about learning how to do the exercise. Stop being scared of exercising properly. Just learn how to do it properly and you'll be fine. So squats, a deadlift, and then, if you want to train calves, you can train calves, but it is what it is. Right? If you do these exercises properly, most of the time it's fine. But yeah, chuck a calf raise in there, make sure you go full range of motion. But it's really easy. A good exercise plan only needs a full body plan, 6 or 7 exercises, 3 or 4 sets for the first 2, and then the rest are just 3 sets. You can do accessory work, but if you start to do a lot of these properly with intention and with purpose, you start to train the biceps, the triceps, and that sort of stuff anyway. So that's my information on the exercise selection of your age bracket. Try to simplify it as much as possible. Give me some feedback, comment, DM, like and subscribe and that sort of stuff. and I'll try to improve on the information I give. All right, mate, have a good day.